All right, I'm going to go ahead and call Planning Commission back to order. And with that, we'll go to a staff presentation.
Okay. 658 East San Ysidro Medical Marijuana Consumer Cooperative, project number 36A312, is an appeal of the hearing officer's decision to grant a conditional use permit. On December 17, 2014, the hearing officer approved conditional use permit 1298246 to allow a MMCC to operate in a 6,868 square foot tenant space within an existing 16,302 square foot building. The project site is in the CSR3 zone of the San Ysidro Plan District. It's within the San Ysidro Community Plan. It is designated Border Commercial and Casa de Cambio and Visitors Serving District 3. The following are the required permit conditions: no on-site consultations, interior-exterior lighting, security cameras, alarms, and a security guard. Hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. Graffiti must be removed within 48 hours, and the project must comply with Chapter 4. The following are voluntary conditions that the applicant has agreed to subsequent to the hearing officer's decision: operable surveillance cameras and a metal detector to the satisfaction of the San Diego Police Department, maintaining camera recordings for a minimum of 30 days, an armed security guard 24 hours, 7 days a week, and graffiti removed within 24 hours. On June 16, 2014, the San Ysidro Community Planning Group voted 8-1-0 to deny the project. The project issue was that the MMC would not fit well in the primary tourist-focused shopping area. This is an aerial view of the site. The site is located southwest of East San Ysidro Boulevard, and it is east of Interstate 5. This is a view looking southwest at the commercial shopping center. And then this is a close-up of the proposed use. This is the site plan. There are 3 buildings, and the MMCC is in the south lower left corner right here. This is the floor plan, which is proposing a reception area, an office, storage, dispensary, and restroom. Jason M.B. Wells and Bertha Alicia Gonzalez filed appeals on the grounds of factual error, conflict with matters, and findings not supported. The appeal and all attachments have been included in your report. The appeal package summarizes 7 key issues: community plan intent, parking, not consistent with Zone 3 category, detrimental to businesses in San Ysidro, no available law enforcement, distance requirements, and marijuana not legal under federal law. The San Ysidro Community Planning Group opposed this project, and it is not in compliance with the community plan intent. Staff's response is that the designated Border Commercial, Casa de Cambio, and Visitor Service District 3 in the that the project is designated Border Commercial, Casa de Cambio, and Visitors Serving District 3 in the San Ysidro Community Plan. The area is known for the following uses: Mexican insurance, curio shops, motels, fast food franchises, and discount clothing. The goal of the community plan is to encourage maintenance of existing uses and development of new community-serving commercial uses. The MMCC is a commercial service which is consistent with the community plan. The site is not in compliance with parking requirements for the zone. Staff's response is that the 0.85 acre site was developed in 1985 with 3 buildings totaling 24,023 square feet and 30 parking spaces. The existing use is commercial services. The proposed MMCC is commercial services. The site has previously conforming rights to a rate of 2.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet. No additional parking is required. Issue number 3, Zone Category 3, is intended to provide for establishments catering to lodging, dining, and general entertainment uses of the community and visitors. Staff's response is that the site zoned CSR3 in the San Ysidro Plan District. CSR allows commercial strip development, which includes retail, wholesale, and commercial services. Recreational Commercial Category 3 allows lodging, dining, and general entertainment uses. MMCCs are classified as commercial services and allowed in the zone with a CUP. The proposed MMCC is detrimental to the business core in San Ysidro's commercial core. Staff's response is that the MMCC is a commercial service that is consistent with the zone and the community plan. The community plan encourages the development of new community-serving commercial uses. The CUP includes conditions which were mentioned earlier in order to avoid adverse impacts to the community, and the applicant has agreed to additional conditions to enhance the security measures. Issue number 5, no available law enforcement to monitor the site. Staff's response is that the CUP includes conditions in order to avoid adverse impacts to the community. The applicant has agreed to additional conditions to enhance security measures. All responsible persons require a background check. Code enforcement will be conducting inspections for compliance. The CUP may be revoked if in violation of permit conditions, and that the San Diego Police Department responds to calls in accordance with their emergency category procedures. And appeal issue number 6 is that the site is adjacent to Bargain Mart, a recreational community center, and numerous children's stores. It is also within 1,000 feet of apartments. Staff's response is that the 1,000-foot distance requirement is from uses, not children. The mentioned uses do not meet the definition of minor-oriented, which again is defined as after-school program, teen center, clubs for boys and girls, children's theater, children's museum, other establishment where the primary use is devoted to people under the age of 18. Primary use means the allowed use on a premises that occupies the majority of area of the premises. MMCCs cannot be within 100 feet of a residential zone. Marijuana is not legal under federal law. Staff's response is that Congress has provided that states are free to regulate in the area of controlled substances, including marijuana, provided that state law does not positively conflict with the Controlled Substance Act. Neither Proposition 215 nor the Medical Program Act conflict, because in adopting these laws, California did not legalize medical marijuana, but instead exercised the state's reserved powers to not punish certain marijuana offenses under state law when a physician has recommended it to treat a serious medical condition. Staff recommends that you deny the appeal and uphold the hearing officer's decision to approve conditional use permit 1298246 with the modified conditions. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you very much. Any clarifying questions on this one of staff before we go to public testimony?
Yes. I have trouble making out the floor plan, even in attachment 9 of the staff report. Can you point out the parts? Because it's maybe in my old eyes, but.
It actually wasn't a very good copy that I had, but okay, so this is the entryway, this is the reception area, and this is the, I believe, the dispensary right here. It's not very clear to me either, but, and then storage area back here, restrooms back here.
What is the space on the left side that looks like a rectangle? Yeah.
Can I have the applicant step up and just clarify the floor plan, because I did not have a clean copy?
Yeah, I apologize. Jessica McElfresh, I'm the attorney for the project, and I do understand it's a little difficult to see, and so I do want to make clear, and I'm going to correct Ms. Gutierrez slightly. Yes, if I'm going to look at this sort of in terms of quadrants, and I wish I had a pointer. Yeah, okay. If you could hold the cursor right there. That's a storage and worker break room area. And if we move, okay, that is the lobby and entrance area, including as you continue to move the cursor to my right. Okay. If we move down, and that is where that cursor is right now is a walkway. If we move into the center there, okay, that is office and administrative area, as well as a general meeting room for members and things such as that. Down in the lower on my right corner, that is the ADA compatible bathrooms. And then if we move, yes, thank you. That is going to be the actual dispensing area. I do apologize, it's not a little clear marked. If you would like to take this, which is sort of written on it and spread among the group, that might be helpful. And I do apologize. That's not
Where's your safe area?
That is going to be in the storage And break room area, thank you.
And then what is that little room on the upper right-hand corner that appears to open to the outside?
It doesn't open, and there is no little room there. It's simply part of a larger overall room. I think that when you blow it up, for some reason, you get that line.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 doors.
They're not doors so much as that they're not going to be open. Some of them are emergency exits. Some of them are internal doors. The one above the storage worker area, that's going to be more of an emergency exit door, but it's not going to be open. It's not an entrance.
And the total square footage again?
If you'll pardon me, that is going to be for the entire project site, it's going to be approximately 6,868.
Quite ample. Teresa was going to ask something. Commissioner Carros?
Thank you. Could you just describe how somebody comes in the front door, they're in the reception, then what happens?
Well, what typically happens and what will be happening here is basically while the front door is open to in this case, the parking lot or the complex, I could walk in, for instance. Commissioner, you could walk in. But from there, everything is secured. The doors are locked going any further in. People check in with the receptionist. She verifies if they're a member. If people are applying for membership, she would take care of that if it were appropriate.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you said that square right there is the one in the middle is like offices, not where a receptionist would sit.
I'm sorry about this. I really am. Okay, so where the cursor is right now, that's the front door. And then if you go into kind of this smaller above rectangle, okay, yes, and a little in, that is the lobby area. When you go down, and in a little, you hit the office administrative area. That's not going to be open to the street or to people or even most patrons when they're there. They will basically go into the lobby area, then that secure little interior door where then it goes to the hallway. That's going to be locked. It's going to be remotely accessed by security, by reception. After they verify, people should be allowed to go back. It's not just going to be open. And then people would go back as appropriate, I might add, to make their way back to the dispensing area if it were appropriate, or if they were employees to offices, things such as that.
Thank you.
Could tell Burkett and Wong they could do better exhibits than this.
I'm happy to pass that on.
After that chastising, any further clarifying comments? If not, I think we'll go to public testimony then. All right. Again, we'll take those in favor of the appeal, opposed to the project first. We have several speakers that have ceded time, so I'm going to start with Bertha Gonzalez first. And you have time ceded from Kathy Lippett. So if you'd like to go, you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Buenas tardes. I wonder if I may use the time of Mr. Martinez and Mr. Linares, then they left. They are in the board of directors of San Isidro School Board and Kevin meeting. So they were going to speak, but they left because of the time. And I like to extend my
Did they turn in speaker slips for this morning?
Excuse me?
Did they turn in speaker slips earlier?
I think so, yes.
All right, if they've got speaker slips in, then I'll give you the additional time, yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Berta Alicia Gonzalez, 378 East San Isidro Boulevard, and I am proudly from San Isidro. San Isidro is the entrance to United States, is where the United States begins. So I am very proud to be part of San Isidro. Also, San Isidro, from the location of this place, is only 800 feet, not too far away, it's very short. San Isidro is the best visited port of entry of the world, todo el mundo. And I am much in favor of leaving the night to have this location occupied by selling marijuana in our place. The community, as I said before you, was built for families, and we have so many children in several schools together, close to each other, that we cannot spend our time having this operation going on when the children are running around and we are very close, very tight together. We have the library, we have sports facilities for people, for children. And in this community is for walking distance and also for children. That is very emotional. Perhaps it's not fit and technicalities, but the children are most precious things that we have in San Isidro. Also, the location is just across from San Isidro Chamber of Commerce, San Isidro, I was going to say school district, but it's not a school district. It's San Isidro Park, no. Business Association. We meet the professional person, like hubs. We meet every week in that place. We have the meeting for Hearts and Hands. They have their facilities there. Hearts and Hands is an organization that provide food for the poor, and they feed over thousands of people in San Isidro. So it's our center community. The community also being so close to the borders, the people that came from Tijuana to shop into San Isidro, they walk into the place, and this place, exactly this place that you were showing, they have a store where they sell, and around them they have shoes for children, clothing for children, for families, all together, dishes and so on and so forth. As it is at this time, San Isidro Planning Group is against this facility. The Catholic Church passed a motion also against it. San Isidro Business Association, with 662 members, passed another resolution against it. And so the community as a rule, as a whole, is against to have these facilities in San Isidro. We need to build the library soon. We are working in our community new plan for San Isidro, and that includes that type of business. It never will. We will reject those type of businesses. And I think that you people are also people that looks after the community, not only for the specifics. Since in San Isidro we have we cannot operate a furniture store or the dentist, because the city of San Diego prohibits that type of business in San Isidro. Yet, what I am observing, you are pushing the marijuana places for a reason. There will be a reason, and you are very intelligent people. But we would like to have business facilities for a regular business community. And I think I have more to say, but I thank you very much for your attention. Muchas gracias. Thank you very, very much to you. You do a wonderful job. You do your best. Mr. Hayes is very, very, I will assertive person in what he's doing. And all of you are very nice people. Thank you for helping San Isidro and the people in San Isidro, including me. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sure Commissioner Haas is especially appreciative. Next group speaker I have is Josephine Hamada, with time ceded from Steve Hamada. So I'll give you 2 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm a retired teacher in the San Isidro School District, and when I heard about this, there would be no way that I would not have the opportunity to come and address you. This place, what they're trying to put, is 24/7 family crossing area. If any of you have ever gone to cross the border on a weekend, it is inundated with families. So this area is not that we're opposed to having a facility, but the location is not the best place to service our community because, like Ms. Gonzalez was saying, that it is family-oriented environment. The other thing that I think you need to understand is that if you've never been in that area, is that behind on the other side, it also is a place where some of the homeless people and folks are putting their little carts and they're back in that area. So and then on top of that, being a border town, we already have enough crime. We already have enough attention to every time you hear the news that the marijuana, the pot, and whatever that they're seizing in the tunnels and whatever. And I believe it is a disservice to our community to even think of putting something like that close to the border. So I firmly wish that you do not approve this for the children, for the community, and for the prosperity of people crossing this border and enjoying our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Move on to individual speakers now. I have Jason Wells.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Jason Wells. I'm the Executive Director of the San Isidro Business Association, who is actually the appellant versus me as an individual. Really, just sticking on point. Some of the addresses that we got from city staff, I tend to reject. Without offending anyone, I'm sure if I asked who's been down to San Isidro, I get the same answer as how many people have grown up in Claremont that we heard earlier. So to answer the intent of the planning group, I know every board, every member of our planning group, and have the ear of a vast majority of them, and know on the intent and their rejection of the intent wasn't what was written on there. It's more to the points that I'm about to state. So with that, I go into those points. First off, the parking. Per the city staff slide that you just saw, it said that the property is 24,000 square feet. Excuse me, the building is 24,000 square feet. They had a ratio of 2.5. I used 2.1. But even more so using theirs of 2.5, they can say Chuck E. Cheese isn't child-oriented, but you can't make 24 divided by 2.5 30 parking spaces, which is what's actually available. You need somewhere in the realm of 50. And the fact that the space that's going to be occupied is not currently acting as a retail space. It's acting as the warehouse for the retail space that's next door that will continue once the dispensary is there. So you're adding businesses there without adding parking to a facility that is already deficit into parking. So Commissioner Haas, I heard your points well on the first item that you heard today. That would make this item a no-go. Also, the precise location of the project does interfere with businesses in the area. I won't go from the standpoint of uses because, again, with the city's broad terms or the commercial use is as broad as child-oriented is slim. What will happen is I'll come from the perspective of displacement. Okay. After a time of this business being here, the only other businesses that will want to go, if the existing businesses are uncomfortable with this use, are going to be businesses that want to be next to dispensaries. I just spent the last 3 days in Santa Monica at a business improvement development forum. Putting a dispensary in your downtown area was not on anybody's slide. All right. So on behalf of the 662 businesses Ms. Gonzalez mentioned, I do ask that you uphold this appeal for the points that we did state on our appeal. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next speaker I have is Scott Chipman. Gone. Peggy Walker, followed by Judy Strang.
Thank you for listening just one more time. I wanted to add to Mr. Wagner's suggestion that we construct conditions to support our preventionist cause. The first one I suggested was raise the age on the conditional permit from 18 to 21. A second one that I'd like to suggest is a requirement that every project have a CPTED review done by the police department. You're probably familiar with this. This is a crime prevention through environmental design review, and it's conducted by the San Diego Police Department Neighborhood Policing Resource Team. It includes an area crime data summary and then suggestions on things like lighting, parking, all the issues that you're considering here. If this was a requirement for all applicants, you would be able to read before you see them and compare. I have a sample here that I will pass around for you to take a look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Judy Strang, followed by Jan Asaro.
Hi, I'm sorry, our PTA leaders from South Bay had to go home. I brought a picture. I have been to San Ysidro. I've shopped this plaza area, and I just want you to know that's really what it looks like. It's a plaza, and I love the description of it being a family crossing because it is families everywhere. It's very European in sense, and the parking is horrible. Speaking as a person who parked there. Can I just hand that off? And I concur with the desire of the San Ysidro residents regarding the displacement of businesses that would not want to locate around this pot shop. This is a very vibrant area, and it sits right in the middle of it. You can see the picture you're looking at. The warehouse that it's going to take over is just to the left of what you're looking at in the picture. Can you see how clustered all that retail and commercial is, and you see how tight the parking is there? Well, that's how the whole area looks, and the street you go down is really tight. There's only one car coming and one car going. It really does feel very European in that respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Jan Asaro, followed by Antonio Martinez. Okay. Antonio Martinez. And Olga Espinoza.
Hi, my name is Olga Espinoza, 1819 Smythe Avenue, proud San Ysidro resident. I'm here today as a mother and as a San Ysidro resident to ask you to help our children be safe. Our children can go and buy their backpacks, socks, uniforms, balls, toys, and the little shopping center where this would be at. Bringing strangers to roam in this area is really dangerous. This is by the border. Teenagers walking to Tijuana, mothers with children walking 24/7. We don't even have cops in our area because it's so safe. But if we have this dispensary right here, it will bring more problems. And I mean, no one will want to buy here. I know I wouldn't be able to let my children buy here. Taking consideration my words, our community will lose a lot. Please don't approve. It's a scary situation to think of having this in our town, especially next to where my 3 boys buy their balls. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Raquel Moran.
Hello. Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon for everybody, and I hope you understand my English. And I just want to ask you, please don't support to put this dispensary in San Ysidro. I was having a lot of things to say, but hearing everybody saying that is that they give it the support. The first is coming. This is the first they serve. We're not in the shop where they go and buy, and get the special. Just everybody goes the same. I just wanted to know and to tell you that I really, really love San Ysidro. I've been there for 40 years. I've been in the schools voluntarily. Nobody tell that I get $1 to help, to work. And I just want to tell you, this lady give me her time. It's Ofelia Angel. Okay?
Nice. So if you
Thank you. I just wanted to tell you that I'm really, really proud to live in San Isidro. I have a lot of friends in there, a lot of young kids like Olga. They have their kids coming, to go to school, to go play and everything. And I have my grandsons and my granddaughters. And I don't want someday, because everybody's and the temptation to do things that they don't supposed to, but I don't want to be one of them to take care of one of those kids doing something that they don't supposed to do. And I really thank you, everybody here, and ask for the support to please don't support these dispensaries in San Isidro. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That is the extent of the speakers I have in favor of the appeal, which means you're opposed to the project. So let's move on to those opposed to the appeal and in favor of the project. We have an organized presentation to start off with. Did somebody wish to speak? And certainly come on up and you can fill out a speaker slip afterwards. So no problem.
Anyway, thank you, Nancy Logan. I have more pictures that I just wanted to share with you. This truly is a little plaza, and you'll see all the markets. You'll see one speaker talked about the kids' clothes and the backpacks. Everything is here. Please take a look at it. Look, she said you buy the backpacks, you buy the shoes. It's all right here. It is right there. And you know what else? Excuse me. We don't live down there, but these are the residents. This is their community. They're begging not to have that type of storefront there. Please, please listen to them. Thank you. And please look at the photos. We were there. One more thing, my bell hasn't rung yet. We have visited these sites, and it's so hard to tell from the photos. Like the last one on Claremont Mesa, we visited. Those photos do not show how close they are. Neither do these. It's all right there. You don't have to walk far. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the organized presentation, and I guess for those opposed to the appeal in favor of the project, I have a number of speaker slips grouped with seated time. Jessica McElfresh, Wayne Shear, and Gregory Hood, I believe, are the three items. What kind of time did you desire for your presentation?
Well, I would like to say that, yes, we put in a variety of speaker slips. As you know, people have been leaving throughout the day. We have put in some additional ones, so we're trying to plug some gaps. I'm going to do my best because I do know it's late. 3 minutes is not going to cut it. I'm sorry. I'd requested 7, and I do think I have enough slips for that.
I think you have a fairly safe, you probably have triple that in the speaker slips. So that's why I asked you first.
I will do my best to keep it to 7 or less. I know it's late, and I will not reiterate what staff has said. All
right. Well, you have 3 already just with your organized presentation. So let me go through and just make sure we've got at least the 7. And if you need more, we can go through that list. Dan Gagnon. Sonara Velasquez. I think she's still outside, isn't she? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, she's with her infant out there, but she's
got
there.
It. I can see you. David Najera. All right. Will Green. And John Auroras, maybe? Something?
It was Abrams.
Boy, sure, if you say so. Marcus Perez. Okay. All right, so you've got your 7. If you need more, I still have remaining speaker slips you can try and add on at that point in time.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Jessica McElfresh. I am the attorney for San Diego Alternative Treatment Center, which is seeking a conditional use permit through Process 3 to operate a medical marijuana consumer cooperative at 658 East San Ysidro Broadway. And above all today, we're asking you to deny the appeals and to uphold the hearing officer's decision to approve conditional use permit number 1298246. Again, I'm not going to belabor what staff said or repeat it. I'm always happy to take questions. I do want to underscore, though, that this has always been a commercial use area. This is a commercial use that is proposed. I would also like to emphasize that we firmly agree with the staff report that this is going to serve the surrounding community and be a use that does that. I know that not everyone can always stay for the whole day to speak or even manage to make it to speak. And so for that reason, you guys should have received packets of letters from various people who live nearby and support the project and will benefit from it. I would also like to underscore something else, which is the City Council, and I think Ms. Thomas can probably speak to this even more than I did. I can. They worked extremely hard to ensure that this ordinance would allow for safe access throughout the entire city of San Diego, and also that you would avoid clustering, such as dispensaries or medical marijuana consumer cooperatives opening on top of each other. For that reason, there is the 1,000-foot separation among permitted medical marijuana consumer cooperatives. You also have the cap of a maximum of 4 per council district. That doesn't matter how many properties work in a district. That doesn't matter how many applications there are in a district. There is a maximum of 4 per council district. At this time in District 8, the commission approved one recently, or I'm sorry, you denied appeals and upheld for a green alternative in Otay Mesa. That's the only one so far in the city that has made it through this whole conditional use process. And if this one succeeds today, well, or some others earlier, I apologize. That will be in District 8. That is, of course, in addition to the other zoning restrictions, which I won't go through. I will simply say, though, that this location, when it was reviewed by staff, when it was reviewed by the project team, it complied with all of the distance separations, all of the restrictions. It is in a zone that the City Council specifically picked to allow for this use. It is written there explicitly in the ordinance. There is no creative thinking, so to speak. As far as parking, I believe that staff has spoken to that. There are 32 spots, including 2 accessible spots for the entire site. And when I say site, I mean the 0.85 acre parcel. There are 3 buildings on it. And that does include the parking dedicated to this project, which are 9 specific spots, including 1 accessible spot that will be labeled. And I'm happy to take any questions on any of these issues, of course. In the interest of time, we'll move no, forward. Okay. We can keep going forward, though. I will take any specific questions about the site plan. We're doing a landscaping plan. You have details about that in your packet. We're mostly upgrading existing planters and just bringing the project into overall more compliance with what's called for in the the San Ysidro Community Plan. We discussed the floor plan. I do want to emphasize, though, that something that was pointed out to me by our security team, and they'll get into, there is the general door of the street, and then that internal door that we discussed. You know, you got lobby, you got the hallway on the side. That door is, it's locked, it's secured, it's controlled by reception. It's not just open. So to speak, he wanted to refer to the lobby as the control room. I would think of it as more the patient entering and being verified room, but we wanted to make clear that was emphasized. We do have a security expert who will speak more to that. I believe Ms. Gutierrez laid out the additional conditions on the permit that we're adding in terms of security. I want to thank the woman before who brought up the SEPTED review. This project has obtained a SEPTED review. It should have been in your packets. If not, I'm happy to make sure that you get a copy. We've gone through it extensively among the project, and among city staff has it as well. We've discussed it with the security professional who will be up here. We are incorporating many of its recommendations. Most of them we already had, but in terms of broader specifics, we're incorporating them, and I'm happy to take further questions on that, but I don't want to take up too much time. I do want to point out, even though we're not here to talk about it today, there is also a separate permit, has been mentioned to you, a regulatory or health and safety permit. We will be complying with that, obviously, when the time comes. And I did want to point out that there are basically sort of going to be that process is designed to ensure the safety of patients as well as and members, as well as the broader community, and we will be complying with all that. There are annual audits that the city can request in addition to background checks. You have to be a statutory consumer cooperative. testing, and it sets forth very clearly the process by which the regulatory permit can be yanked when, by the way, you can only have your regulatory permit for 1 year. You have to renew that every year. Your conditional use permit is for 5 years, though of course that can be gone through, and if there are violations as well, the health and safety is for 1 year. And with that, I do want to just reserve any time I have left for rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next group I have that's an organized presentation, I believe, is Humberto Peraza. Just you? You have 3 other speaker slips that have offered you time. Certainly don't feel obliged to use it if you don't need it.
It's been a short day, don't you think we should? I'll try to make it short. My name is Humberto Peraza. I'm here to speak on behalf of the United Patients Alliance. We are proud to support this application for our member cooperative for the MMCC license at 658 East San Isidro Boulevard. The proposal put forth by this cooperative gives us full confidence that they will behave as responsible members of the South Bay community, servicing valid South Bay patients with current and valid doctor's recommendations, while being a discreet and security-focused neighbor to the surrounding businesses. This applicant has committed to having no exterior signage except a monocolored sign with the name of the establishment, to installing further lighting, security cameras, and to having a security guard. All measures that will heighten security not only for the cooperative and its patients, but also lead to improved security for its neighbors. This cooperative cares about the community. Community members sit on the cooperative board. Cooperative leadership also has conducted extensive community outreach, meeting with concerned citizens and business leadership in San Isidro. By approving this application in San Isidro, you're ensuring that the access to is equitably distributed around the South Bay. You've already approved one in Otay Mesa. You have applications coming within a month for Barrio Logan and Logan Heights. So as a South Bay resident, myself, I am confident that permitting this will give access and will have no negative consequences for my family or impact my life in any way, while enhancing the lives of those who need access to this medication. So that we ask that you deny this appeal, and we ask that you approve the application for 658 East San Isidro Boulevard. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next speaker I have that has seated time is Yami Bolaños, and time seated from Sam Humzied, I believe. Thank you.
It's funny you got my name right and his wrong. Okay.
That means your handwriting is better than his, is what it means.
Good afternoon, members of the Planning Committee. My name is Yamile Bolaños. I am a patient operator for Pure Life in Los Angeles. I'm also the founder and president of the Greater Los Angeles Collectors Alliance. That was part of the pact that passed Prop D in LA and made us legal, right? I'm here because I've established a Latino outreach program in Los Angeles, and there's such a high demand for information and education on the subject from the Latino community that I have already scheduled a meeting here in San Diego for April 11th. So, on the subject of San Isidro, I'm here in support of the San Diego Alternative Treatment Center. 215 is the law of the state. MMCC is the law of San Diego. If this organization meets all the distance requirements that it's supposed to meet under your ordinance, then I say that you guys grant them their permit, because there's no reason why you should make the sick and dying Hispanic majority that live in the San Isidro area go to another area to acquire their medicine. That's not fair, and that's not what the spirit of the law was written in. So I suggest and I hope that you guys will approve the permit, because it's fair and they're there to help the sick and dying. And as far as children and being hurt by the situation and this plaza that they walked through, I've been there too. And if you have minor children alone, they shouldn't be there. They should be supervised by their parents. And if you have a collective that's run correctly with the proper protocols, no children are going to get in. And there won't be any illegal selling of marijuana on the street around there. The ordinance and regulation will only bring order to the situation. And if you have a situation that meets the distance requirements, then you should approve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker I have is Pamela Lopez. And you have time seated for Mac Lopez.
Hello. Thank you for hearing me today. I am a San Diego native, born and raised, for those of you that aren't familiar with the entire area of San Diego County, in Imperial Beach, which is right next to San Ysidro. I've lived here and worked here my entire life. About 4 years ago, my doctor informed me there was nothing more she could do for me in the way of assisting with pain that I suffer from. I have several conditions, not the least of which is osteoarthritis in all my major joints. She said all she could do for me at that point was give me sleeping pills and pain pills. And I dealt with that for about 1 year. When I decided I was about to go over the edge and get hooked on pain pills and sleeping pills, I said, I can't take these anymore. And I looked for an alternative. And that alternative that I found was medical marijuana. I'm not a pothead. I don't smoke marijuana. They offer the most wonderful product in the way of edibles. And I take something called a lozenge. It's a little round candy, one a night, 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed. And all it does is minimize the pain and help me sleep. If I don't have that little lozenge at night, I don't sleep. And there have been weeks when I have gone days without sleeping before I found a dispensary when a friend was recommended, when it was recommended to me by a friend. And I've been using that ever since. I don't want to get hooked on prescription medicine, which I almost was. And I have supported San Diego and promoted San Diego my entire life because I love San Diego. And I think it's time for San Diego to help support the disabled and handicapped of this community, of which I am one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Margaret Joubert.
Okay. Hi, again, I'm Margaret Joubert with Alliance for Responsible Medicinal Access. You may wonder why you keep seeing me up here. ARMA is committed to responsible access for qualified patients to cannabis-based medicines, which is why we pushed for the passage of this ordinance. We feel that the applicants who meet the rigorous guidelines put forth therein should be granted a permit. It's unfortunate that there is so much community resistance, but I think much of their apprehension comes from a historical bias based on the proliferation of unlicensed shops who were clearly not focused on following the law. Several studies have shown that there is no increase in crime in areas around permitted dispensaries. In fact, with heightened security measures in place, crime often decreases. Many of the opposition's fears can be alleviated by education, and as you heard from Yami, we already have Latino community outreach programs planned. We want to work with the community to ensure neighborhood safety and quality are not negatively affected. This applicant has met or exceeded all of the requirements of the ordinance. Please reject the appeal and approve the CUP. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Ken Sobel, followed by Martha Sullivan.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ken Sobel. I was able to help my mother and my father pass gently using cannabis from the twin evils and ravages of cancer and later Alzheimer's and cancer. And over the last number of years, I've become pretty much a specialist as a lawyer. In practicing 35 years, I was the first attorney to actually go to an evidentiary hearing where the opposite side wanted to prove all of the evils you've heard about cannabis and the safety and health risks. And it was my task to prove that cannabis was a safe and gentle plant medicine. We proved that case for the first time in the history of the United States. It's safe, it's effective, and it provides compassionate healing for those who need it. Also, I've opened dispensaries in Arizona. In a regulated environment, what you find is totally the opposite of what they pretend will happen. It's a professional business. People don't enter without having a recommendation first. The crime statistics show that it's twice as safe as a pharmacy. It's as safe as a pharmacy and twice as safe as liquor. We support this particular applicant in providing safe access to medicine for the San Diego community. Thank you.
Thank you. Martha Sullivan, followed by Terry Best.
Hello again. I'm Martha Sullivan, and I just want to, the reason why I keep coming to these over the last few years is because I've been a volunteer community organizer here in San Diego County for over 10 years. And I've come in contact with, many people who have been able to help themselves and help their elderly relatives, help their relatives that are dealing with cancer and other debilitating diseases by, making use of medical marijuana, and more importantly, making use of the expert advice that they can get going into a dispensary where there are people who understand the properties of the different types of marijuana products that are available. So this is an extremely, extremely important service to provide to the community. And it's important that it be provided equitably. And I guess I want to make the point that for everybody who's concerned about crime, don't you think it's more dangerous to force people to go out on the streets to get marijuana that they don't know anything about, from criminals? Isn't it better to have them go into a permitted, regulated facility that the police knows about and monitors? You need to think about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Terry Best, followed by Chris Siegel.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry Best. I'm here representing San Diego Americans for Safe Access. We're a national patient advocacy organization. I am a native San Diegan, and I grew up in District 8. In our work at San Diego ASA, we support patients who find themselves in criminal court simply for using or providing medical cannabis to sick patients. I'm going to read some of the names of the victims. These people were arrested and had their lives turned upside down in criminal court in the last few years. These are just the folks that I know of in the last few years who have had their lives turned upside down by being charged criminally for their use of medical cannabis. None of these people have ever been accused of selling to minors or to non-patients. Some were not even accused of sales, only possession. Here are the victims who have suffered in criminal court because of the denial of safe access to medical cannabis in San Diego. Jose Calva, Victor Marion, Jason Lujan, Dexter Padilla, Ronnie Chang, Benjamin Gasper, Mark Gillingham, Howard Greenspan, Owen Hudson, Jovan Jackson, Babette Kurtz, Dennis Little, Deborah Little, Tim O'Shea, Robert Orlowski, Crispin Price, Laura Sharp, Matthew Geschke, Rich Hertz, Eugene Davidovich, and James Stacy. When people say "not in my backyard" to medical consumer cooperatives, like the San Ysidro Community Planning Group has done, what they are saying to their sick neighbors, their cancer patients, and their soldiers is, "I want you to get arrested." What they're saying is, "You deserve to suffer." What they're saying is, "You do not deserve police protection." These are the consequences of denying safe access: destruction of your neighbor's property, the arrest of sick and dying patients, and the ruining of lives. Please deny the appeal, item 10, and move the project San Diego Alternative Treatment Center forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Chris Siegel.
Had to leave, so I'm here in his spot, and I have a additional time seated from Odette Medina, who's there in the back. Okay. Hi, I'm Sonara again, and I'm here representing United Patients Alliance in the place of Chris Siegel. We support this applicant. We think this applicant is a professional, discreet operator who will be an excellent representative both of the city and of our association. He's one of our members. I've known Alex and Pearl a very long time. Very proud to be here supporting Alex in this application. I wanted to really quickly say, first of all, we've heard that there was people in San Ysidro didn't want that. There are patients all over the city of San Diego that want and need this access. The way things are playing out in District 8, we're looking at just the application submitted. There will be one in Barrio Logan, Logan Heights, Otay Mesa, and San Ysidro, exactly as this ordinance intended. Some limited number in all areas for all patients. This is not like the District 2 situation. There were a few CEQA appeals, but nobody's within 1,000 feet. There is no immediate knockout in the competitiveness. One last thing I wanted to highlight was parking, because that was brought up by one of our appellants. The parking situation. Not only does this meet the parking requirements of San Diego City, it meets the parking requirements of San Diego City by having 32 available spaces. What other applicant has provided 32 available spaces for this use? And as someone who has been working with many people in this use, 32 is more than enough for any collective, more than enough for this use, and above and beyond what is required by San Diego City Parking Code. We do not think with 32 available spaces there will be any problem for parking at this facility. They've gone above and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Douglas Gorman. Kenneth Murrell. And last speaker then I have after that is Antonio Perez.
Ken Murrell. As a parent of 4, at one time I shared all of your concerns, but I'm the new face of medical marijuana. I'm the caregiver for my daughter, and I'll be the one that'll be visiting the dispensary. My daughter has extreme juvenile arthritis. Medical marijuana has allowed her to control her pain and pursue her dream. She's an honors student in chemistry, attending UCSD this year. Medical marijuana has been a lifesaver. It should be kept from children and teens, but my daughter should have safe access also. It's been my experience with this co-op, and I've followed them from University Avenue to El Cajon, and I will follow them to San Ysidro, that they're professional in every way, and they've consistently met or exceeded my daughter's medical marijuana needs. I will travel the extra distance, and I urge the approval of their application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Antonio Perez. Okay. Jessica, you have rebuttal time, so if there's anything you want to clarify or anything like that.
I don't have anything specifically to clarify, but I think I miscommunicated earlier. As part of our presentation, the applicant or one of the board members for the application, and then also our security professional did want to speak briefly, and so that was why we had submitted so many slips. So they would like to be heard very briefly.
Yes,
right,
you have.
Thank you.
You have the time. So.
All right. I'd like to introduce one of the board members and the responsible persons, which is Wayne Alexander Scher.
Thank you, everybody. I'd like to introduce myself, Wayne Alexander Scher. I am the applicant and the director for the cooperative looking to operate in the community of San Ysidro and within the city of San Diego. I'd mostly like to address the concerns regarding public safety. I know that this is a controversial issue, and I know that many in the opposition here today have had in very recent times experiences with dispensaries that were unpermitted, unregulated, had no public safety rules, and basically no oversight or mechanism to have their concerns addressed or even questions heard, which has played a big part in shaping their view on what's going on. The reason we're optimistic is because now the mechanisms for regulation and oversight do exist, and they have spent years researching and learning about dispensaries and developed, not a lax regulatory process. This is arguably one of the most sophisticated, restrictive, and thorough zoning ordinances in the state of California. There have been studies conducted for which links I've provided. I know they don't serve you too much right now, but perhaps in the future, that show that regulated dispensaries can in fact have the opposite effect on most of what the opposition is concerned with. Fortunately, medical marijuana is not a new thing. Regulated dispensaries have existed for years throughout the state and other states throughout the country. This has provided time to conduct extensive research and analysis on their impact on public safety, and we know that they're being looked at with a fine-tooth comb because of their controversial history. And the data still supports the reduction of crime in regions around licensed cooperatives. That regulation makes it more difficult for youth to obtain medical marijuana. That we can actually stimulate the local economy by hiring local San Ysidro residents, by drawing in individuals that maybe haven't been to San Ysidro, thereby introducing them to the neighboring businesses and services of that community. I'm not saying that the concerns voiced by the opposition aren't valid concerns. What I'm saying is that we share those concerns. The difference currently is that we believe, and it seems that the data can support, that we may have a positive impact in the community in those regards. And we recognize that people have, their own very real experiences, and we aren't arguing those experiences. Their established stances and perspectives on this issue, as well as just medical marijuana in general. So we have prioritized outreaching and making ourselves available to answer questions and address any concerns. We'd ask for opportunities to meet with the appellants to introduce ourselves and explain our goals and intentions. We're thankful for their graciousness in affording us their time. Most recently, last Friday, we met at a local church in the community with 30 or so members of the public to answer questions and let them know, what it is and who we are. We will continue these efforts in hopes of maintaining and growing our relationship with the entire community of San Ysidro, not just those that already support us. We do see ourselves as a goodwill organization providing an essential social service to the community for the ill and those mindful of their health and looking for alternative remedies that would support their therapeutic goals. This service plays a vital role in the lives and well-being of members that join our cooperative, thereby serving as a valuable component to a healthy and balanced community. We know, much like a Green Alternative and the other applicants hoping to open these cooperatives, that all eyes are on us, and we need to perform to the highest degree possible to ensure that we do in fact function in a manner that makes us an asset to our members, the community, and the city of San Diego. And we are hopeful for the opportunity and respectfully request that you deny the appeal and approve our project. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. That, I believe, is the last of our speaker slips. We had a number of seated times from folks who did not speak, so I just want to make sure if there's anybody else yet who wants to speak or did turn in a speaker slip or we didn't call or anything. If not, I'm going to go ahead and close public testimony for the day and turn to commission comment. Commissioner Wagner, you're up first, sir.
Ms. Gutierrez, am I reading the staff report correctly that there is, in fact, only one appellant?
That is correct.
Perfect. So speaking in regards to the appellant, I think that Mr. Scherer left. I don't see him anymore. But with regards to the chamber, the San Ysidro Chamber, I completely understand where you're coming from. Every zoned appropriately space, according to council district, is open to being a place to put one of these 36 dispensaries. I believe that we are putting checks and balances in place, as well as city staff, police, fire, and code compliance to ensure that the property would not in the future disproportionately contribute to nuisance-related activity. With that, I find that the grounds for appeal based on factual error, conflict with other matters, and findings not supported are not merited. Going to the findings, I can make the findings, but I wanted to pause for a second. The staff report does say that there are two appeals, yes. And I just wanted to clarify that.
Sorry, I apologize. There are two appellants. It's Jason Wells and Bertha Alicia Gonzalez.
Am I not finding Ms. Gonzalez's appeal correctly? Or, oh, forgive me. Yes, I see it. With regards to Ms. Gonzalez's appeal, based on factual error, conflicts with other matters, and findings not supported, drilling down to her minor-oriented facilities, as well as within 1,000 feet of apartments. Ms. Gutierrez, this is not within 100 foot of any apartment?
No, it is not.
And then this is not within 1,000 foot of a youth or minor-oriented facility?
No.
Therefore, I find that Ms. Gonzalez's grounds for appeal are without merit. I would like to make a motion. I'd like to deny the appeal and uphold the hearing officer's decision to approve conditional use permit 129-8246 with the modified conditions, as well as Kevlar-based drywall in the reception area, the safe area, and ensuring that Kevlar-based drywall is used in any adjoining walls with any other business. I also would request that we condition the license to ensure that there are in fact 2 security guards during the operation of business, and then 1 security guard in the time thereafter until the morning. That completes my motion.
All right, for discussion, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Whalen with a second. All right, Commissioner Hess.
Thank you, and I appreciate Commissioner Wagner continuing to strengthen our conditions as we move forward to try to make these uses as compatible as possible with the community. Although we have land use regulations and siting regulations, it's not a cookbook. It's not the same recipe every time. And what jumps out at me that I'd like to have a brief discussion about has to do with our finding number 1, which is that the proposed development will not adversely affect the applicable land use plan. And the reason for that is on several occasions in the staff report and in the presentation, we talk about the goal of the community plan. On page 2 of the staff report, the goal of the community plan is to preserve and enhance the community-oriented character in the historic commercial district, encourage the maintenance of existing uses, and the development of new community-serving commercial uses which meet the needs of the residents. I'm struggling with that, with this particular use. When I look at a 6,000 square foot facility, it's not so much that this isn't a commercial use, I'll agree with staff on that, but I look at what are the opportunities or maybe the opportunity costs of this use, and is it the best use in this community with respect to stimulating the community and enhancing this district and providing uses which meet the needs of residents. So with that, I'd like to hear from the applicant. I believe this is your presentation, if this is correct, thank you. And in there, you talk about benefiting the economy. And benefiting the economy has to go beyond a few jobs and the like. And in your second bullet, you say it shall be an economic stimulus to the local neighborhood by drawing in new potential customers for neighboring businesses. Now, we had someone from the business district saying that he was just at a conference yesterday and nowhere was this listed as an economic driver. So I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt about how, as you said, this use and your business is going to be an asset to the economy and to the community.
Yes, that is based on the fact that there are very limited locations for these dispensaries. And in fact, what's going to happen is people are going to need to travel to neighborhoods that they don't typically go into to join a cooperative. And so what we expect, for example, National City and Chula Vista, they don't have regulated dispensaries and storefronts, so we're expecting other people from those communities to come in, and when they come in, being there, they'll see the other services, the other businesses that are there, and that in itself benefits those services. It's sort of like having a SeaWorld, perhaps. I mean, it's not at all that similar, but you look for those things to draw in people into these areas that potentially might not go into those areas normally.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your response on that, because it is important that we make a decision, and I do take the policies of the community plan very important. They're very important to me. And while we can say it's not 1,000 feet from this or that or whatever else, we have to go beyond that in analyzing these projects. I want to ask staff, and thank you, by the way. This is a question for staff, and it really goes to the question of what does the community need with respect to community serving uses, and have we done any work with that with respect to the community plan or anything else? Do we, what is the most important community serving use that we need down there? And sometimes we know that, and sometimes we don't.
I'll go ahead and address that. Tate Galloway, Long Range Planning. As far as the update, we are looking at that issue, and the community has expressed a continued need for community-serving businesses along San Ysidro Boulevard, as well as visitor-serving businesses for the people that do visit the border region in Tijuana and travel back and forth.
Well, this is where, what's that priority? And that's what I'm struggling with right now. This is an opportunity. It's a very large space. It's a very small area. And I do believe that there will, if run properly, and if the business owner is invested in the community and is willing to be involved in the business district and the needs of the other members of the business, that I can find that this is a community serving business. Maybe not everyone in the community needs this service. In fact, I hope they don't, just for the record. But it needs to benefit the entire community, even if you don't serve all the residents of the community. And that's what I struggle with, is that your clientele is not going to be everyone in the community. It's a limited number of folks, and it will draw from outside that community. I want to make sure that it's the best for the community as well, and it's not going to prevent the community from getting the other uses that it needs. So that's what I'm considering right now as I make a decision on how I'll vote on this project. Thank you.
Any other commission comment? None? All right, we have a motion on the floor, with first by Commissioner Wagner, second by Whalen. If there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote, please. And that item passes 6-0 with Commissioner Pearson absent. This decision of the Planning Commission is the final decision in the city's process. And with that, I will adjourn Planning Commission for today. I have to read one more speaker slip today. I'll just